You should watch this movie, Shawnee.
But why, Nathan?
Are you asking me why should I watch? You are listening to Why Should I Watch, the podcast about movies and ideas. Hello, Shawnee.
Oh,
The
hello,
little
Nathan.
stomach is making noise.
Oh, I'm hungry.
You're already hungry.
I just ate breakfast and I'm still hungry.
Hungry for Netflix?
Oh. Yeah,
No.
well, since you mentioned Netflix, Nathan,
Yeah,
what have you got on your little clipboard there?
it's a clipboard that I've got. I thought, today we could talk about Netflix shows, since there's just so many of them.
There's too many, I think. When I first got Netflix, I thought, I got Netflix maybe a year ago, but in that time, there just seems to be so many new shows. It's hard to keep up.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I dive deep
Yeah.
into Netflix, I just find movies that I've never seen before.
Oh, yeah. There's just a, endless, bottomless pit of content.
Not to say that it's good content, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is not an ad for Netflix.
I mean, I watched The Land Before Time movie 2 a couple of months ago.
The Land Before Time 2?
Very nostalgic. But then there's something like The Reef, and it's obviously a knockoff of Finding Nemo.
Or Shark Tale.
Oh, Shark Tale. I actually watched a little bit of that as well. So, yeah, so it's kind of weird. Netflix doesn't seem to push all these shows in your face though. Like, if you want to find something, you've really got to dive deep for it. But when you do find it, it's generally pretty bad. Like, they seem to highlight all their best content, whether it be original or not.
Yeah.
But then, like, the crappy kids shows are just pushed all the way to the bottom. It's kind of like YouTube in a way.
Yeah, well, we did an episode of the kids section of Netflix, but ended up not uploading it because it was too hard because we were talking about so much stuff that we saw, but it's hard to communicate in a podcast.
We need to find out a method of displaying the screen, which we can. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not
well,
too bad.
we're looking into live stuff, but as for now, it's an audio medium. Wow, so the one thing it wasn't. Yeah, got to get on top of it today.
We've just woken up. We're still in bed, still in our jammies.
Yep, it's an early morning pod.
It's an early Sunday, a lazy Sunday morning.
It is.
And Nathan wants to do a potty,
as we always do on a Sunday.
And now I'm forced to think on a Sunday.
Yeah, don't sound too happy about it. Yeah, so I think we'll go through the Netflix shows, like sort of as a list, and then we'll discuss the ones that we've seen. We can talk about, and ones like we haven't seen, we'll judge them.
Well, I could see quite a few cancelled shows, which I was very surprised about.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
No spoilers, of course.
Yeah, so I'll just quickly list the categories as we'll go through them. So we got drama. You know what dramas are?
Drama, yeah.
Yeah. Comedy.
Ha-has.
Yeah. Miniseries.
A miniseries.
Adult animation, which is my personal favorite section for Netflix. They do those well. Then continuations, which is basically shows that got cancelled on another network or whatever Netflix picked up. Then talk shows, and then they're cancelled shows. So, what do you look confused?
So cancelled. So, what do you mean by cancelled? Is that a category
Cancelled
within Netflix?
Cancelled is Netflix originals that have been cancelled.
Okay. Can you find those on Netflix still?
I don't know. I think so. I know because we were talking about the Get Down before, and that's still on Netflix. And Girl Boss is too.
So you can't
go
go through Netflix categories and find cancelled, and then it opens up
I've
and there's
never tried that.
all the cancelled shows.
But I highly
they
recommend
should do
you
that. That'd be funny.
But I think they don't want to highlight it. I think they just leave it there forever because they've made it and they've paid for it. They may as well put it up.
It just gets lost in the quicksand
We'll
of
get to it. So, actually, and it was the first Netflix original show as well, House of Cards, their drama, starring Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright. Yep, as the
president, right? He plays the president.
He ascends. If you want spoilers, are we going to spoil the shows?
Yeah, let's do it. I haven't seen them, but just lay it on me.
So you haven't seen House of Cards?
No, just lay it on me though.
You've got to watch it. Well, it's up to season 5 now, I think. Yeah, and he starts the plot is there's already a British show called House of Cards, and it's based off that where his name's Frank Underwood, and he gets passed over for Secretary of State.
Okay.
So he was this other guy gets made president, and he was promised a Secretary of State role, and then they announce someone else, and in his it's embarrassing. So he vows revenge on all the people that screwed him over.
Sounds like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, and well, Bill Clinton has watched House of Cards and says it's like 95% true. So it's like all the back deals that get done in Washington and
okay.
stuff. And I'm pretty sure it's actually filmed in Washington. Like you see the opening credit sequence is really cool, where it's like shots of Washington, like time lapse.
Is it like The West Wing a little bit?
The West Wing is a bit more of like not really a procedural, but it's a bit more like of an ensemble cast,
Okay.
and it's a lot more. It's long. Well, it's like 8 seasons. It's a bit of a different tone, I think, because that's a bit more dialogue heavy, and
More
you
like
see like all the procedures of how.
admin and business and
Yeah,
all that. Like The
yeah.
Office, but serious.
Yeah, yeah. It's not really similar. House of Cards is a lot more dark. It's a lot more about Frank and Underwood and Claire Underwood, his wife. They're sort of like they're a partnership and they work their way up together.
Yeah.
I think it's fallen off. Like it's I can't remember which season's rated the lowest, if it was 3 or 5, but it's sort of like it's really like it's hit and miss. Like the first couple of seasons are really really good. There's a plot twist in season 1 that's amazing, and that's what got me sucked into it because the first few episodes were a bit slow. Do you want me to spoil it?
No.
Okay.
If you
want to watch it,
I kind of want to watch it now.
yeah.
Do you think? Why do you think there's little slumps in it though? Is that just due to the writing?
I think it's just
or-
natural with TV. You can't have like even you think about the great shows like Seinfeld and even like Breaking Bad had every
The Fly.
so often. Yeah, I see. I actually liked that episode, but yeah, every so often they had an episode that people don't.
Here we
like.
go. Why'd you like The Fly?
No, we're not talking about that yet. That's not Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is not a Netflix show.
We can do a Stan episode.
Stan. They're probably like, why didn't you talk about our show? We've got Wolf Creek. Anyway, the next one, Orange is the New Black, which your phone's making the thing.
Oh,
You're making the microphone.
oh,
go.
really? Oh,
Yes,
gosh.
it's got data, mate. You've got it right next to the microphone.
Ah, sorry.
So Orange is the New Black. That was their next show, and it's because it's known. It's like considered a comedy drama, but it's probably primarily a drama, and it's about It's weird as well because it's in like its 5th season as well. Because these shows both came out in like 2013, so now it's 2017. They've got 13, 14, 15, yeah. So 17 will be season 5. It was based on a book called like My Year in Prison or something about a woman who like went to this woman's prison.
Yeah.
But now it's become like this. I'm saying it like I'm complaining, but I'm not. But it's about like this. It's sort of like a transgender, like LGBTQ.
That's why it's so popular at the moment.
Icon, yeah. But I don't think the book actually had too much to do with that. But there's like a lot of black actresses. I think it's got there's a trans actress. I think there's
Susanna Crazy Eyes Warren.
yeah, I don't know if that's her, but there's a transsexual actress. Oh no, not
She
her.
looks a bit like a man though.
And she gets into a lesbian relationship and stuff.
Is that Chappelle Corby?
Yeah, no, it's not. But she
Okay.
looks like her. Yeah, but that's the one. So the main character Piper gets into a relationship with her, and I don't know. My ex used to watch it. Shout out to no.
Here we
But
go.
no, we're moving on. But
Is it dark like Oz though? Like was it like a comedy? No, it says
it's a comedy drama. So, but I think it's a drama first, and that's why it's categorized under drama. But it's a really like it's not a bright show, but it's. I mean, Jason Biggs from American Pie. He's in the first season. He plays the guy. He plays her boyfriend. So yeah, it's odd. I find it pretty unwatchable. I can't get into it.
I think it's a girls' show.
I think that too. I'd love to see.
It's
I wish
an
Netflix
all-female
released
cast.
their stats. They really should release their stats because I reckon that it's mostly for women. I reckon.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Jason Biggs is 39 years old.
He looks so awkward. It's just his nature.
His life's gone down the shitter.
Next drama, Stranger Things.
Oh, here we go.
Now, tell me, season 2's just come out, so it's a timely release of this episode.
Haven't seen it yet. No spoilers.
No, I haven't seen season. I mean, it just came out last night or whatever, so I've had no time.
Season
I'll be
1.
watching it today.
I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
I've seen season 1.
Of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Oh, good do.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Are you shaking my hand for watching a show? The microphone can't
Hear
see.
it.
Oh, wow.
I can hear it.
Okay.
I loved Stranger Things. Oh, but like, I think most of our friendship group is into like 1970s, 1980s kind of retro
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia, E.T. and whatnot. I think we do a pod on Stranger Things
No?
before.
No.
I feel like I've spoken to her about it. Well, my ex was really into Stranger Things.
Shout out to.
Speaking of exes,
Yeah.
and she actually got me into it when she
All
did
right,
her
time to
review.
move on. I'm joking.
And yeah, no, I loved it. I loved it. I think I need to go back and watch it a little bit though, because a lot of it kind of went over my head.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah, it's pretty dense. I remember watching it just thinking, I mean, the plot was, it started getting like supernatural towards like the later half of the season, and had that like love triangle type thing.
Yeah, and when the boy finds the body of himself,
Yeah.
and all that, that's when
Yeah.
it started to get a little bit like, oh, this isn't just a monster in the woods kind of thing. It's really expanding and twisting on itself. So
Yeah. And the child actors are great.
oh, 100%.
Finn Wolfhard, who we talked about it. Maybe that's why you're thinking of Stranger Things. We talked about him.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about Stranger Things, I think, like in passing.
Yeah, it's always something that we've wanted to talk about.
Yeah, because there's a lot to go through. It probably could get its own pod.
But we've been waiting
yeah.
for season 2 to come out, so we can kind of, if we do a Stranger Things pod, we can do it all in one.
Yeah, yeah.
All in one go.
Yeah, because it's hard just to, I mean, talk 10 episodes it's hard to just talk about one TV show like that. Because you can get someone to like, you can just listen to a review if you really want to. But yeah,
listen to our review though.
Yeah, listen. Well, you know.
I mean, I'll be starting season 2 tonight.
Oh yeah, I'll probably flop it on soon. Maybe
but I'm just worried it'll be, again, as you said, like too much to handle.
Well, that show just took off, and I don't think people, because apparently I was listening to a podcast with the Duffer Brothers, who
Shout outs.
Who are the guys who made it, and the Netflix basically said when they made it, like, we're not paying any money on marketing. They just put it up. People just started catching on to it, and so that's that thing you're talking about where it's like Netflix can now just advertise itself, like it advertises its own shows.
A few months ago, what they do is they will make sure that, like, I reckon the percentage match score is a controversy. I think that all their little shows that they make, like an Adam Sandler movie came up.
Yeah.
It had like a 90% match for me. Now, if you listened to our podcast last week, I disagree.
That's true. You do.
I think it's a controversy.
You're not the best fan.
Someone's sneaking in percentages
well,
here.
Apparently, one of the Duffer Brothers, right? He has Netflix, and they put up Stranger Things. It's a show he made, and it wasn't recommended for him.
Oh wow!
So it wasn't even in his own taste. The guy who made it.
I hate the new match system. I don't get it. I think the star rating was great.
Yeah,
it's classic.
Well, the executive of Netflix definitely listened to this, so I'm sure they'll change it.
I think what the problem was is that too many Netflix original series and movies were getting 1 star because they're crap. Yeah, like, all right, we need to shut this down.
Yeah,
just give everything a 90% rating.
Well, yeah, or they just put the shows up. Yeah, because I don't understand the difference between this is 90% recommended and this is 70% recommended. There's like no difference. Anyway. We'll speed up through a few that we like, because I haven't seen some of these. The Crown, which is based on Queen Elizabeth. The fun fact with that is, I think it's apparently one of the most expensive TV shows to produce. It cost them like $110 million or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was like a massive investment. Apparently it's really good. I started watching episode 1, but I find it really hard to get into like period dramas.
Like
costume things and like setting different times.
Downtown Abbey and all that.
Yeah, Downtown Abbey.
Oh wow. Downtown Abbey.
Ice Cube.
Downtown.
Ice Cube stars in the next season. The OA, which is like the OA, which I think is more of like a sci-fi. It's like a supernatural thing. But then again, it's just one of those shows that like there's so much other stuff to get out there. But I'm gonna start episode 1 soon, one day. Yeah. We'll talk about it in 2019. Yeah. A series of unfortunate events. Excellent. I thought that would be more under a mini series because season 1 covered the first 4 books, I believe. Yeah. Much better than the Jim Carrey movie.
What?
Sorry, Jim Carrey.
I didn't mind it.
But the way you just got to watch it, it's one of those ones. It's filmed like Wes Anderson, who did like the Grand Budapest Hotel. Yeah, yeah. It's filmed in that really like cubist sort of like the shots are all very deliberate and like
wide,
set up,
flat.
Yeah, and that
good
real
color and all that.
Yeah, and the real strange sort of tone.
Yeah, yeah. Strange music.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
and a lot of like big actors like Joan Cusack, who was like not Dory. What's the other? Jessie from Toy Story.
Oh, yep.
Neil Patrick Harris plays Count Olaf, which I was a bit suspicious of at first, but he does it really well. And again, the child actors in that, because if you don't, it's about the Baudelaire family who their parents die in a fire. They're like 3 young kids. Their parents die in a fire, and then they've got this uncle who they have to go stay with. And he's trying to get their fortune. He's trying to get their inheritance.
Oh, okay.
And he keeps impersonating different people. Each book is then moving to a different family member, but it's just Count Olaf again and again. Which actually, the family members are different, but Count Olaf impersonates someone associated with them.
Yeah.
And then ends up killing all those family members. Yeah.
That's a great
It's actually
story.
pretty dark, yeah.
Is it filmed a little bit like Kubrick style?
Yeah. Well, Wes Anderson was sort of based on the Kubrick style.
Yeah.
Kubrick's a bit more slower paced though. Like his shots can last for like minutes, whereas Wes Anderson was a bit more fast paced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's a good mix.
Yeah, but Kubrick, I think Kubrick in the set, the visual look. 13 Reasons Why.
Next.
Produced by Selena Gomez. Very controversial for its way it dealt with suicide.
Next.
Ozark. Have you heard of Ozark?
No idea.
It's kind of a Breaking Bad style. Jason Bateman, who's Arrested Development, known as Michael Bluth. Him and what's her name? Laura Linney, his wife. They were laundering money for this like a cartel. And at the start, like this is no spoiler, but his business partner gets killed by the guy because he was like laundering money. He was like funneling off like millions of dollars. So he has to go. He has this idea to save himself from getting killed. Where they're gonna go. There's a place in America called the Lake of the Ozarks, and it's actually it's a man-made lake. It's this huge thing in the middle of America. I think it's in Missouri, and they move there, and its coastline is actually bigger than California. Because the way it's built, if you look at it on a map, it looks like this giant starfish.
Yeah.
Oh, getting a bit phlegmy. And so they move there and they set up this like enterprise where they're going to launder the money for the cartels. It's a really strange show. I found it hard to get into at first, especially with the Breaking Bad comparisons.
It sounds because just as you say that,
Yeah.
Substantial debt to a Mexican drug lord, keep the family safe.
Yeah,
Does sound a little bit like if Breaking Bad relocated.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, if you remember when you first watched Breaking Bad, you probably found that hard to get into because you'd see Bryan Cranston as Hal. You know, the first, like the pilot the pilot's is pretty good at getting rid of that image. But if you remember the very first time you watched Breaking Bad, I remember when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, we're watching the guy from Malcolm in the Middle deal drugs, you know?
Yeah.
So I had to do that too with Jason Bateman because he's known as the comedy actor, like Michael Bluth, like the straight man. This guy, like, you know, money laundering. It was a bit unbelievable, but yeah, I got into it, and towards the end, I really enjoyed it. But if you watch, you should watch it and let us know your thoughts because it's
a lot more dark.
It's strange, yeah.
So I'm looking at Bateman's history.
Well, the thing
here.
too is
he's done a lot of Arrested Development,
comedy. He's a comedy actor.
Horrible Bosses, Zootopia,
and he was the original. It was Teen Wolf 2.
The Change Up.
Yeah. What was the other thing I was going to say about it? Well, the thing is, you know how Breaking Bad, the plot was like Walter was hiding it from his family and stuff. The kids find out in like episode 2, so they get rid of that trope of like him trying to hide it. They're all just open talking about it.
So they all get involved.
Yeah, the whole family gets involved, and it's kind of a bit weird like that. Yeah, I'd like to see your thoughts. The other drama on their list is Mindhunter, which I actually have absolutely no idea what that is. So let's skip it.
Never heard of it.
Comedy, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Have you seen that? Heard of that?
Who's Kimmy Schmidt?
So it's Tina Fey's show, and the lead actress in it is, you know, Erin in The Office?
Yes.
Yeah, it's her, Ellie Kemper.
Okay.
So it's like the show was created for her, and basically the plot of that is she lived in a bunker. She was captured by this cult leader guy, and he put these girls in a bunker, and they finally get released. And so the show is her like integrating back into society. So it's in New York, and she goes and stays with this crazy sort of lady. And her roommate's this guy called Titus, who's like this gay black dude. And he's like a breakout star. I think he's won an Emmy from it, or at least he's been nominated. And Jane Krakowski, who was in 30 Rock, is in it.
But what's the story of Kimmy?
Kimmy Schmidt, so she was locked in a bunker by this cult leader.
What does she want to do now that she's out?
Well, so she's literally lived in a bunker, so she doesn't understand society at all. So it's her learning about, and so the episodes are like Kimmy goes to college, Kimmy, you know, gets a driver's license, Kimmy does this. So it's her learning about society. Are you looking at Brendan Fraser?
So it's like that. Is it Encino Man? What was the
Encino Man?
Encino Man.
Oh, where he's like the caveman.
No. It's the God. He's a horrible looking person. Hang on.
I know Encino Man. Yeah, it was like 94 or something.
No, it's not Encino Man. You silly thing. It was. There's a movie where a blast from the past. Blast from
What's
the
the plot?
Past. Hang on. It made $5 million. Yeah, he's in a fallout shelter during 1962, and
Yeah.
then he comes out 35 years later.
Yeah, it would be like that. Yeah,
Okay.
even kind of like Jumanji, where so you see what I did there, where Robin Williams, you know how he was like the kid in the jungle and he comes back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's
Okay.
that's what it's like. So she's come out back into society, and she's learning. But the thing is, what makes a show a comedy, because it could be really dark. You know, a girl who's just been, is that she's like just endlessly optimistic. Yeah, it's good. I just finished season 3 and definitely worth a watch. You're looking up Brendan Fraser. Good to see you focused on the podcast.
You're relating it to Blast from the Past.
And now you're on Facebook. Wow.
Blast from the Past.
Grace and Frankie. I just finished watching that too. That's season 3 as well. It's Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin. Lily Tomlin is Miss Frizzle, the voice of Miss Frizzle.
Oh, really?
And she was in West Wing as well. And Jane Fonda's been in like everything, because Henry Fonda is like a massive director. Peter Fonda, like you'd see that, you know them from like heaps of stuff. And also
Peter Fondle.
yeah, don't say that. Martin Sheen is in it, who's Charlie Sheen's dad at Apocalypse Now.
Yep.
And Sam Waterston, who was like the lawyer in the original Law and Order.
Really?
And the idea is where they were two married
Pretty big
couples.
cast.
They were two married couples, and the two guys realize they're gay for each other, so they leave their wives, and it's about the wives. So Grace and Frankie coping with it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a really quirky idea, and
That is really good.
the kids are in it too, and one of them is June Diane Raphael, who was in How Did This Get Made, which is a podcast I listen to.
That you watch, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's one of those shows where, it's kind of like, it doesn't really, I don't know, it's a concept you'd never really think that you'd watch, but yeah, it's definitely worth a watch if you're into that stuff. Into a bit of because it's like older actors just getting paid to live their lives. It's beautiful.
Interesting.
Master of None, that's Aziz Ansari show, who was in Parks and Rec, the Indian guy.
Good? Or...
yeah, it's good. It's kind of like, just trying to think. It's sort of like Woody Allen-esque. It's like him just like, it's about the
Does he talk to the camera and all that? Or?
No, he doesn't talk to the camera, but
Does he break
each
the fourth
episode
wall?
there's no sort of like overall thing. He's like an aspiring actor, but it's filmed, especially season 2. He basically, you can tell they've just let him like literally do whatever he wants, and each episode's just like not disjointed, because there is an overall story, but for example, I think it's episode 2 of season 1. He his dad's in it, right? And like someone makes a joke about his dad or something, and it goes all the way to the dad's past in India and like growing up and his struggles and turmoil. It's like a really quick time lapse, and it goes for like a whole minute. And then it cuts back to the dad, and you feel bad about that joke because you've just seen his whole life and struggle to get to America. It's just like that. It's filmed like really weird. Like it just takes you out of the narrative, and like, yeah, it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not easy to do.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely worth a watch. And then season 2, he goes to like Italy, and then back to New York.
So it's not.
Yeah.
It's a serious kind of. Is it like?
It's a comedy, but it is a comedy, but it's got serious.
Like a
it's sort of like
travel-
Woody Allen, like is
Like a
how it's described.
travel comedy? Are they going to go
No,
to different
no,
places?
no.
I'm thinking of like.
No, he goes
an idiot abroad.
Yeah, no, not like that at all. No.
No?
He goes
Okay.
to Italy because his girlfriend breaks up with him at the end of season 1. Like she needs to be alone. Yeah, it's really hard. It's a hard show to explain. It's pretty dense, but
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
Woody Allenish.
Love, which stars Gillian Jacobs and Paul Rust. Gillian Jacobs was Britta in Community, and it's set in LA, and she's like a sex and a love addict, and she's like pretty like like she's got this like a lot of like personal problems, and he's like a aspiring writer. You see these like common themes.
Sounds like a
Feel
European
like-
movie.
Yeah, kind of, but it's it's good. I think it's just up to season 2 now. Season 2 just finished, but definitely worth a watch. Fuller House. Let's skip that one.
No, why
The
was
Full House remake.
Fuller House?
Fuller House.
Jeez.
And it's up to season 2 as well, I think.
Oh wow.
Flaked. That's starring Will Arnett, who's Job in Arrested Development. Again, it's set in LA, in Venice, and he's a recovering alcoholic. I see how all these shows are like linked. You see this common theme.
Yeah, like self-healing, daddy issues.
Yeah. Flaked is hard to explain, but it's got like a kind of a lighter tone, but like a slower pace. It took me a while to get into, but it's definitely worth. The Ranch is
Here we go.
Ashton Kutcher's new show.
Bloody Ranch.
We tried to watch that.
No, it's not. All right. My gripe with The Ranch.
Yeah.
This is where I come in.
Yeah.
Going back to my ex. So this was the first show. Well, one of the first things we watched on Netflix because we saw Ashton Kutcher and the guy. Oh, what's his name? He plays the dad. I think it's Sam. Oh, Sam something. He plays the colonel in the Hulk film with Eric Bana.
Oh,
Anyone remembers that?
not J.K. Simmons.
No. Sam Elliott. He plays his father. So the start of the show has this very emotional, graphic, like it's like 40-second opening.
Yeah.
Showing the ranch and it's welcome to the family. Showing picture frames and this humble little town.
Yeah.
And Ashton Kutcher walks in.
So the next show is
talks to his brother.
The next show is Lady Dynamite.
Talks to his. No, I'm complaining. Talks to his brother about him returning, and then the father comes in and goes like, what are you doing back here? And you think it's going to be like a serious show, and then he goes, and then a joke comes up. It's like,
yeah,
weren't you playing for the Canadian Penguins? And it's like, oh no, it's too hot up there or something. And then there's a crappy fake laugh track, and then welcome back, son. And then it just goes from there, and it's so deceiving.
So the next show is Lady Dynamite.
Screw you, Ashton Kutcher.
The next show is Lady Dynamite,
You punked me, Ashton Kutcher.
Maria Bamford.
You've done it again.
I've heard really good things about this show, but I've never watched it.
I don't care. On to Easy.
Easy. That's set in Chicago. It's 10 episodes again, and it's like each one's like a different character.
Ugh.
It's kind of like, it reminds me a bit of Love Actually, where it's like different stories.
Do they all intertwine, and then at the very end they all like
a little bit? I think it's more going to be season 2. It's going to go revisit the characters. Then we've got Haters Back Off, which is that chick. Oh, I forgot her name, but she's a YouTube one, and she's got that makeup. Yeah, we're moving forward. What's the time? How long have we been going?
27.
Yeah, it's not that long.
Let's just do that one, and then
we'll keep going. We'll have to mention every show. That's what it was. I don't even know what One Day at a Time is, so you can look that up in your time. Santa Clarita Diet. That's Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
And Timothy Oliphant, who was in Justified.
Yes. She dies.
Have you
and
seen
she
it?
starts eating people. I've seen a couple of episodes.
Yeah, it's good. It took me a bit. Once you get to about episode 5, when you realize that no one who was making it gave a fuck. They're just like the premise is just like, let's just take it as ridiculous as we can.
Yeah, it's hard to get into.
It is, yeah. I'd say get to episode 5, and if you're still not like getting the joke,
because it's not like a
it's
lady who
so
dies.
Serious. Yeah,
exactly. It's a lady who dies and she's eating people, and it's very graphic. So, but it's not a comedy.
It is a comedy.
Well,
they don't play. It's deadpan. It's deadpan.
Yeah, it's deadpan.
The actors aren't seeing it as a comedy.
It's not like a Shaun of the Dead comedy.
I'd say it is
a horror.
No, I'd say it's like Shaun of the Dead style, where the characters are all serious. Just keep watching.
I didn't laugh though, but I was entertained. Like it's not in your face humor.
No, it's just them. Wait till you get. I think episode 3 is where it picks up, but it's very odd. There must have been high when they came up with that. Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Drew Barrymore will do anything these days.
Mystery Science Theater 3000, which was MSTK.
That's based off an old show, isn't it?
Yeah. It was in the 80s and 90s, and it's basically they watch bad films and comment on it. That's literally what it is.
That's our job. Well,
but the episodes are the full film, so they just watch that. There's a show called Dear White People, which I don't think we're legally allowed to watch. Apparently, it's really good, but I think you have to not be a white person to like it. Glow, which stands for the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, stars Alison Brie, who was also in Community. Mark Maron, who has the WTF podcast, and Glow was a real thing in like the 80s, and it was like a women's wrestling league basically, but it was a bit sleazy and sort of like it never really took off massively. It was just so it's a fictionalized version of that, and there's also a documentary too about the real one. Then there was a show, I don't know why this one's under like originals, but it's called The Stand-Ups, and each episode's literally just a different stand-up set. So I don't know why.
Comedians.
I don't know why it should be under their stand-up stuff.
What? That's weird.
Yeah.
Is there like backstory on them, or is it like a?
I think so. I think they have a little interview, and I think it's just it's non-famous stand-ups, because they did another one called we'll get to that, but I think they were just trying out a few new stand-ups just to see, because that's what Netflix can do now. They can just throw out a show and see if people watch it or
Yeah,
not.
but they're losing money though.
They are friends from college. That's not Key and Peele. So instead of it's not Jordan Peele, but it's Keegan Michael Kelly, or whatever. I think that's his full name. I haven't seen that yet because it's only just come out. But I think it's basic. The title says it all, really. Friends from college. Atypical, the show about autism. You want to watch that?
Oh wow, atypical.
Yeah, he's an autistic guy.
Is he? Does he actually have autism, or is he playing
the
a
actor
person with autism?
I don't know. Actually, it's a
Let's
good
look him
question.
up.
That's a good question.
Let's look him up.
I'll keep talking about I'll just get through the rest of the comedy.
Yeah, I'll find this guy.
Disjointed. That's a show. It's about a legal weed center in California. Apparently, it's actually got a laugh track. It's gone back to the ranch as well.
Yeah, he's got autism.
He's definitely got autism. Okay, good. Kathy Bates is in it, but apparently it's got really bad reviews. It's like less than 4 on IMDb or something. I think.
Ouch.
American Vandal. Haven't seen that, and she's got to have it. Which I'm not sure if that's. I remember I wrote a few that were about to come out or have, because I knew we'd like. So I don't know if she's got to have it.
These last 5 shows I've never seen on Netflix.
Yeah, well, they've a couple of those were all 2017. So American Vandal and She's Gonna Have It. I don't even know if they've come out.
They've been sucked into the vacuum.
All right, miniseries. Wet Hot American Summer, First Day of Camp. Did you watch that? Have you seen that? It's so weird. I'll give you one. I'll give you one explanation.
American Pie kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, it is. It is a lot like that. John H. Benjamin, who plays Archer, the voice of Archer.
Oh, yep.
Turns into a tin of peas, or tin of corn, and he's in the show as a tin of corn that talks with the lid moving. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that show. Now you have to watch it.
That sounds amazing.
Trailer Park Boys, Out of the Park.
Hang on, no, you can't just glance over him turning into a can of peas.
But I'm just getting you intrigued to watch the show because I literally can't explain it to you.
Are there other people who are food?
No, that's just
him?
one example of one of the characters.
Just him,
Yeah, all the other characters are humans.
but he's a can of corn.
Yeah.
He's
And it's basically got almost every comedian, like Bradley Cooper's in it,
on camp.
Amy Poehler's in it.
On camp.
Yes.
So he's like going like flying fox and like.
No.
Kayaking.
You have to watch it. You have to watch
All right, I will.
Trailer Park Boys, Out of the Park Europe. I've never watched Trailer Park Boys,
Ugh.
but you must see it on it. It's always like advertised on Netflix. Like they're really pushing it. It's always near the top for me.
It's that guy with the goofy glasses.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't
Apparently
know.
it's really good. So I'm gonna try and watch that, and I'll update you if I enjoyed it. The Gilmore Girls, A Day in the Life.
Ugh,
Skip that.
skip.
Then Wet Hot American Summer, 10 years later.
What?
So the first year of, because it was actually a movie in 2001, and what they did was, it was 2001, and then 2015 that this one came out, the first day of camp, and they basically they refilmed it, but as they're like all the actors are 15 years older, and then this one was 2017, and they did it like 10 years later. So the first day of camp I think was like 81, so the 10 years later was like 91. So they're like parodying the 80s and then the 90s.
Is he still a can of corn?
Yes, of course.
Oh my gosh.
And then 2 miniseries, Godless and Wormwood,
No idea.
which I've never heard of, so we'll skip those. Adult animation, BoJack Horseman.
Oh, here
best,
we go.
Best show on Netflix.
Here we go.
Best show on Netflix. He plays a horse who's like Will Arnett plays a horse called BoJack Horseman who was a sitcom star in the 90s and now is like washed up. And Aaron Paul plays this guy Todd who's like lives with him, and he basically is his Jesse Pinkman character. Alison Brie's in it again as Diane Ewan, who's doing so season 1 is she's a human who's doing a biography of BoJack Horseman. So they're going through his life, and that's sort of the structure for season 1.
Yeah, it's done well, hasn't it? Like,
oh, it's huge, yeah. And it's season 4 has just come out, and season 5 will be next year.
it's like Adam Sandler.
If you've been to LA, or if you know what like Hollywood is like, and it's just a parody of that, and it's.
But is the comedy good though? Like,
Oh yeah, it's brilliant, and the animation as well.
Adam
It's such an
Sandler-
inventive show.
Adam Sandler was.
I find it insult that you put Adam Sandler in the same sentence.
No, but I'm saying it's like his life. Now he's washed up.
Oh yeah.
Miserable.
Well, yeah, it kind of.
At least he's making money though. But
Well, Adam Sandler already parodied that in Funny People though. It's more like a sitcom style. Like there's a guy from Fuller House that apparently it's based on.
oh really?
Yeah, or similar. Like
So it's not making fun of washed up comedians. It's making fun of Hollywood.
Yeah,
Would you say?
overall, it's yeah, and because he's like severely depressed and like he's like an alcoholic and
The
all.
grass isn't always greener.
That's right, exactly. Very good quote. Yeah, but you have to watch it. I can't explain it any more than that. Except that his rival's also a dog called Mr. Peanut Butter. And yeah, it's just beautiful. F is for Family is Bill Burr's show, which is based on his life in Boston, like the suburbs of Boston.
Okay.
I've watched season 1 and I can't really get into season 2.
Really?
It's a bit odd.
What kind of humor is it? Like King of the Hill?
Well, you know,
humor,
Bill.
or?
Yeah, King of the Hill is actually a really good comparison. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know Bill Burr's comedy. Yeah, you've seen his stand up, haven't you? Oh, really? What? You've never seen Bill Burr? Oh, man. Well, you watch that, and it's basically his stand-up in an animated show.
Is it dry? Is it like what's his comedy?
Well,
like?
Bill Burr was in Breaking Bad. He was Huel, Saul Goodman, Huel, and the other sidekick, the redhead dude.
Yes.
When he does water, that's Bill Burr.
Oh, okay.
It's not vulgar. It's sort of like this like guy humor, and he has like easy solutions for problems and like things like that.
King of the Hill, yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And the other one's Castlevania. I have no idea what that is.
Castlevania is based off a video game series from back in the 80s.
Have you watched it? No.
I know what Castlevania
Neo
is.
Yokio is, I think that's anime.
Neo Yokio.
And I saw that Jude Law's in it. So, of all people.
Interesting.
And there was someone else. It was... No, I can't remember. Big Mouth.
Gay. Totally gay.
So Big Mouth is a show that's just come out. It's doing well. It's Nick Kroll and John Mulaney. And also Jason Mantzoukas is in it, who's also from the How Did This Get Made podcast. Shout out there.
They're doing well, those
so
guys.
It's about adolescence. So they're like these adolescent kids who are like struggling with these problems. But the best part of the show is like they have like the hormone monsters, and they like tell them what... It's sort of like the devil on their shoulder type thing.
Yeah.
But they're huge, and they like follow them around and tell them what to do. So the boys have one and the girls have one.
Oh.
And that's what gets them into trouble, because it's like the temptation.
So all these celebrities and creatures, is that kind of the ongoing thing?
That's only... That Freddie Mercury thing is just like a little blip in the show.
That's the only...
But there's the ghost of Duke Ellington, who was like a great jazz singer, jazz musician. And he's up in the attic. So the kid goes up and consults him sometimes.
Yeah.
But that Freddie Mercury thing, that's only one scene.
That's the only scene I've seen.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. You know, I thought it's something I could get into. It's very self-aware.
Yeah. It's like it makes jokes about Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the end titles when you go to like click next. Like I do it on iPad, so I physically touch it, and then the screen goes out again. Like you realize it was part of the show. Yeah, it's good. It's
beautiful.
Definitely worth a watch. And I think it's going to have a season 2 as well, so that's good.
Is it an ongoing story, or is it?
Yeah, it's an ongoing
episode
story.
of the week kind of thing.
It's about adolescence. So each episode's like a different aspect of adolescence.
But when he accepts that he's gay in episode 3 or 4 with Freddie Mercury, is he gay
It's
the
not
rest
that
of the
early.
season?
It's like episode 8 or 9. Oh no! Actually, no. It is early. No, well, you have to watch it. There's a twist at the end.
Okay.
The continuation. So these are shows that originally were somewhere else. So Arrested Development, they did season 4, which was actually poorly reviewed because the actors...
I heard it wasn't...
Well, the actors were so busy that they weren't even in the same scenes together. They had like stand-ins, and that's why the rhythm is a bit off. And it's because it's like 15 episodes or whatever it was. It tells this story over what they were doing over the last 7 years, and it's so like jumbled up and a mess.
Do you think it needed a season 4? I mean,
they were talking about doing a movie. But the ideas got so big that they couldn't fit it into an hour and a half. So that's where they got the idea to do season 4.
But did season 3 end on a cliffhanger at all, or?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really needed a resolution, but a lot of fans were dissatisfied with it. Not necessarily because of the story, but just because
the way it was produced.
Well, if you watch seasons 1 to 3, it's one of the greatest comedy shows of all time because of the rhythm of the actors and everything. And season 4 just completely derailed that. So they're doing season 5 now. I think they've started filming. But they've got the actors. They've done it. Yeah, they said we're only going to do it when all the actors are available.
Yeah,
and that's why it's taken time again because season 3 ended in 2006. Season 4 was 2013.
That's insane.
And now this is 2017. Yeah,
so they need to wrap it up though. Like this is it. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think apparently the plot's going to be a murder mystery this time because that makes sense at the end of season 4. Okay. Liza Minnelli plays this woman called Lucille.
She was dead.
Well, she will be. Clone Wars. Have you ever seen the Clone Wars? Star Wars?
Yeah, I've seen a few seasons.
Apparently it's really, really good. It's just one of those shows I really have to get into.
It's made well. It's Star Wars.
Yeah, I know, of course. The Killing. Don't know what that is. I
Next.
looked it up, but it seems like sort of a bit of a generic like, drama that just goes on. Trailer Park
Next.
Boys, yeah, Longmire. Don't know what that is.
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. Oh, I just finished watching it.
That's
excellent. British. It's a British show.
It's kind of like sci-fi kind of horror.
It's more like
psych.
I'd call it more like speculative
drama.
fiction, where it's like it's kind of like our present, or like the not too distant future, if technology goes a certain way. So it's like about the dangers of technology.
Yeah.
So there's episodes where it's like people like they get ranked in society based on how good they are socially. So people, every interaction you rank people, like Uber rating, like 1 to 5 stars.
Yeah.
But it's like in just normal interactions. So the people that are lower ratings get locked up. The people who are the higher ratings are like the rich people.
That's amazing. We should do that.
Huh?
We should do that in real life.
Yeah, but it's a lot of things like, it's like, what if this happened and what if that happened? A lot of people recommend as well, you should skip season 1, episode 1. Because basically the plot is the prime minister they kidnap the princess of Britain and tell the prime minister they're going to kill her if he doesn't fuck a pig. That's literally the plot. Yeah. And it's really weird because there are so much other good episodes. San Junipero, which was in season 3 this year, won 2 Emmys.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's great. It's a... I won't actually reveal that. You have to watch it.
I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Don't you say anything.
No. Lovesick.
Next.
It's a bit generic. The Last Kingdom.
Next.
You see why these shows got cancelled originally. Real Bob. That's what's his name? Rob Schneider has a show.
Next.
And Glitch, which I don't know what that is either.
Glitch.
You do know?
I think I do. I think my
Yeah. While you search that, I'll just quickly talk because there's only
X worked on it. Why do we keep going back to X?
Glitch is an American show though.
No, it's Australian. Yeah, Sam worked on it.
Oh really?
Yep. Glitch, 2015. It has Patrick Brummel, Emma Booth. Anyone ringing a bell?
No.
Hannah Monson.
That Ned guy looks familiar.
Ned.
Yeah, it's actors. Like, if you know Australian TV, you'd recognise the actors.
Yeah, look, I don't.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. Only 2 talk shows. Chelsea, which is Chelsea Handler, she's massive in America. She's not so big in Australia. You can see she's got a lot of the interviews they just put up on Netflix, on YouTube anyway. Bill Nye Saves the World. Apparently that's been savaged. It's like 3.4 on IMDb.
Why?
Because apparently it's because Bill Nye is he's like a popular scientist, but there's like weird segments where there's like singers and like comedy bits and stuff. Apparently it's like really hard to watch.
Really?
Because it goes from him like trying to explain science.
So it's not like Bill Nye. So Bill Nye, popular scientist. He's like that Neil. What's his name? Tyson?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Those two are kind of like the same.
Or our Dr. Carl in Australia.
Personality, Dr. Carl. Like they're they've got that talk show. They'll talk about science.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Bill Nye does a bit of magic or something as well. Like
he'll
do these cool little experiments to show science.
Apparently it's just like it's not even like he just dumbs it down so much that it just loses all value. It's like
watch this eggs float when I boil.
No, not like that. More like he just trivial, like he's talking about climate change, and then it's like, and now we got this guest on to sing a new single, or some shit like that. Yeah, I don't know.
He obviously didn't have any. I feel like he didn't have any. Hang on, he didn't have any. Like creative output in this. It was all just done by a producer going.
No. I think maybe.
Let's flare it up.
Yeah, where it's like, let's really go for it.
Boring.
But if you look on Reddit, it's the top on television. If you go to top post of all time, he's in like the top 3. Like people are really passionate about it.
Oh yeah,
like, about their hate. No, about their hate for the show.
Oh gosh. Here we go.
Cancelled. Hemlock Grove.
Yep.
Marco Polo.
I thought Marco Polo was doing well.
Marco Polo. No. Yeah. You probably think it's doing well because they advertise it so much. Bloodline.
No, never heard of it.
Sense8. That was the Wachowski siblings. They were brothers, and now they're both trans women.
Well, now they're cancelled.
Matrix, yep. Apparently it's really good though, but it just never caught on. It's sort of like how people are connected across the world. Something, I don't know. The Get Down, that was Baz Luhrmann.
See, The Get Down.
Baz Luhrmann, who did Australia,
I thought it'd be really,
Great Gatsby.
It looked really good. The Get Down.
Yeah.
Funky.
Well, he's a stylish director, but it just, I guess it just didn't take off. Which
Because that came straight after Stranger Things.
yeah,
And I thought that was going to be the next, like, Stranger Things. Like, everyone was going to move to the Get Down. You know, it had, like, funky mystery, action.
yeah, and that's the
then-
thing. Sometimes you can get the formula right, and it still doesn't take off.
Good point.
Gypsy,
Never heard of it.
never heard of it. With Bob and David. So that's Mr. Show, was like a comedy sketch thing in the 90s. That's Bob Odenkirk. So Saul Goodman.
Yeah.
And David Cross, who is Tobias in Arrested Development.
Was it funny? Did you ever see it?
Yeah, I didn't. I have a really weird thing with sketch shows. They have to be really. Did you ever watch the sketch show that was called the Sketch Show, the UK one? It was like the early 2000s. Great sketch show, Skid House with Peter Hallier in that.
Oh, I remember Skid House.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this one, it's just awkward because it was a live. They have a live audience again. They do like these live skits and stuff. I just find that stuff really awkward. I think they're better as actors, to be honest. They're better as comic actors.
Bob's more of a...
Yeah, Saul Goodman's excellent.
Oh, 100%.
We'll talk about that when we do our Stan one, Better Call Saul. And then Netflix presents the characters. I turned it off after episode 1.
No idea.
It's basically what it was is it's like improv actors playing characters. But
Isn't that Thank God You're Here?
True. But this is like, it's like what they've done is each episode is a different actor, and they've basically said you have a 30-minute episode on Netflix, do what you want, and they've like put together characters. I think episode 1's Lauren Lapkus, which is actually she's associated with a lot of podcasts I listen to, which is like the Earwolf Network, and she's pretty funny on that. But just for some reason, it just didn't go so well. I just couldn't get into it. They go a bit over. I think they like. Imagine if you were told, like, you have a half-an-hour show on Netflix. You'd probably put your all into it.
Yeah.
But sometimes that can be too much. You know, because, like, this is it. This is my
improv.
This is my shot, you know, and, like, you overdo it.
I feel like everyone would be arguing, having all these comedians, like, in the room. Like, oh, should we do this? Should we do that?
No,
like,
I think
the idea
like
would come off really...
No, muddled. I think the idea was to have the opposite of that. So it's instead of that, you have each comedian gets their one episode and they have the full control. But sometimes that's not the best because they're not experienced enough.
Thank God You're Here had a
yeah,
perfect. The scenario was already set up.
Yeah.
All the other characters had dialogue.
Yeah.
It was just the one comedian going off that. So it was all situational.
Yeah, but
this is scripted
though, I'm pretty sure. It's like
really?
It's like sketches, rather than improv. I say they're improv actors, but they've developed these characters and then they're doing scenes. Yeah, it's no good.
No.
Cancelled.
Cancelled.
And Girl Boss, which I think was
next.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Good.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on that? There's just so many shows. I mean, that's Netflix, their first original show was 2013. So what has it been? 4 years, and they've already got, that's at least 50 to 60 shows.
I think the shows that really stood out to me would be A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Yep.
Ozark sounds good.
Oh, as in ones you want to watch, not ones you've already watched. Because, I mean, Stranger Things is probably the
still sucks. Mystery Science Theater, I'm surprised I haven't watched that already.
Yep.
It's about bad movies. BoJack Horseman.
Yep, definitely watch that.
Big Mouth.
Yep.
What was it? Black Mirror.
Yep. Definitely watch Black Mirror. Yeah. I was just gonna say I forgot to mention with Black Mirror. So, season 3 is the Netflix one, and that's got like American actors in it.
Okay.
For season 1 and 2 was all British.
Yep.
Except for the last episode of season 2, which was actually a special with John Hamm, John Draper from Mad Men.
Okay.
And John Hamm he's the guy who captured Kimmy Schmidt in the bunker. Just for a fun fact, I forgot to mention that.
Oh, wow.
Wanted to shout that out.
Interesting.
But yeah, so, because here's the thing, right? Netflix said they invested $6 billion into TV shows this year, and they're going to invest $7 billion next year.
Oh.
So it's going to be probably another 60 shows. Do you reckon we should get a show on there?
What do you think the ratio will be?
Of what?
Well, if we look at like, I need a breakdown of what shows got cancelled and what shows succeeded this year. I want to see like was this all the 1 year?
Or
was this over 5 years or so?
No, most of these have been cancelled this year.
Okay.
Or late 2016, but yeah, within a year.
But how many new shows have come out this year, roughly?
Probably half of these, so probably about 30.
30, lost about 6 shows.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Or 6, 5. It's about I reckon 1 in 5 fails, probably.
But it's interesting to see like the Get Down, Marco Polo, Hemlock Grove. Those are the ones I saw advertised, but those are the ones that cancelled. But the ones that didn't get cancelled, like Black Mirror, like Lovesick and all that, the ones that are still going, those are the ones I had no idea about at all. Like,
But I think those have just come. Like, well, Lovesick was like, I think what this is what Netflix can do well now is they can get a show with a specific fan base that we would never like. It would be on a network or something we'd never watch.
yeah,
But now because it's all on Netflix, we're like it won't come up to us because we're not interested in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like Orange Is the New Black. I mean, it's there because it's like a Netflix show, but I'm probably never going to watch it.
yeah.
But we'll still see it there because it's on Netflix.
And like, I guess the difference between like Netflix and Stan is that when like the Get Down comes out, that's coming out all over the world. But
Yeah.
it's mostly targeted at people who live in Brooklyn, the
Yeah.
coasts and all that. But when it comes out
Yeah.
to Australia,
We don't really have the
it's
context
really hard
for it. Yeah.
for the Australians to get into it because
Yeah.
it's not so much
Although,
American humor,
Baz
but
Luhrmann is Australian.
it's very American.
Yeah,
Like,
but
it's-
Baz
it's-
Luhrmann's an Australian director though. But yeah,
Yeah,
he does. He did Great Gatsby and stuff, so he sort of moved on from that.
I think, yeah, but Stan's got all these Australian shows. A little bit easier for our marketplace.
Yeah, I would say okay. I'll say that the best shows on Netflix, the ones if you have to like pick from all of those, definitely watch House of Cards, Stranger Things. That's the two. That would be the two dramas. House of Cards, Stranger Things. Two comedies. Watch. What are we looking at? Watch.
Fuller House.
No, watch Glow. And probably Master of None. Did you say Full House? Now watch Glow and Master of None.
Master of None sounds good.
Yeah, watch Glow, Master of None, and adult
Miniseries.
and definitely watch
Just gonna
BoJack
stick the
Horseman,
miniseries.
and definitely watch BoJack Horseman.
Watch Wet.
Oh yeah, Wet Hot American Summer, but I would watch the movie first.
Okay.
Watch the original movie, and then watch the two miniseries version of it. But you have to like that really absurd comedy, like Bradley Cooper and Amy Poehler play like this theater drama like duo. It's bizarre. But that's the thing with Netflix. I think that's the main point with Netflix is like now they can take this really weird stuff that might, because like the big networks, you have to be getting like millions of viewers or that you'll get cancelled straight away.
Yeah.
Netflix, you don't have to do that. You can slowly build your audience, like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
They had no idea if it was going to work, but they just threw it out there.
It's great.
And it took off and
They're
was
taking
massive.
risks.
Yeah.
Some fail.
Yeah.
Some don't. What about continuations? Anything?
Yeah.
You jump back into?
Watch if you're a fan of the definitely Black Mirror for sure. Arrested Development. And I would say watch Clone Wars too, but I haven't watched it myself, so I'm hypocritical for saying that.
Well,
But if you're a Star Wars fan, you got to watch Clone Wars.
if you're,
fills in the gaps
seen it.
between
It's
between
great.
yeah, it's a prequel.
It's
you know,
good.
it fills in episode between 2 and 3, and we'll talk about how good the
if you're a
prequels are.
Star Wars fan, you got kids.
I want to finish with one last question for you.
Okay.
Because you know how Netflix, like, they make their shows based on an algorithm. So they're like, people in their like early 20s, they like this and that, so let's do a show about it.
Yeah.
What kind of a show would you like to see on Netflix? Pitch me like a quick little
Stranger
Netflix
Things.
show. Yeah. You know what I thought as well? I think I haven't... Strange Things. There was Derek as well. Netflix did Derek as well. Ricky Gervais. So I don't know why that one's... I think I might have missed a few.
Okay, I'll pitch you a show. It has to be
Just a quick little pitch. Yeah.
okay. Based between the 50s and 60s, it's got to be a mystery, sci-fi,
Yep.
something to do with society. So maybe like the kids are being ranked from attractiveness, and
So you're just taking a Black Mirror episode.
it's before Hollywood turned into a pedophile ring, but it's secretly controlled by aliens. And the Weinstein
wow.
guy comes
Oh,
in,
wow.
and he's abducted, and he fronts the whole thing. The end.
Why Should I Watch is a Skinny White Boy production. For more information, visit www.skinnywhiteboy.com.